Hello, people. How are you doing? And I hope you're doing fine. In our class today, we will talk about reflexive pronouns um, and how to use it in the ordinary day by day English, right? So, the meanings on the uses, you're gonna try to do it, right? Well, let's start. Reflexive pronouns we have the singular myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. And as you can see, they are related to a personal pronoun. So myself to is related to I, yourself related to you. So myself, I is the first person, yourself is the second person, so you, himself and herself and itself are the third person for the singular too. And the plural, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves, also they are related to the personal pronouns we, you, and they. Um, we're gonna talk about their use in a minute, but here by my side I have this image of Jim Carrey's "Me, Myself, and Irene." So in this movie title, they make a kind of wordplay with the reflexive pronoun because me, myself, and I is an expression in English that it's when you say that when you want to say that you are doing something really by yourself with no help of anybody. Me, myself, and I. Oh, who is repairing the car? Me, myself, and I. So nobody but me. It's a practical way of using these reflexive pronouns. Uh, and let's check more. We can use a reflexive pronoun as direct object with most transitive verbs, but these are the most common. Uh, so transitive verbs are those ones who need a complement, a direct object or indirect object, right? So we have here verbs like amuse, blame, cut, dry, enjoy, help, hurt, introduce, kill, prepare, satisfy, teach. As we have the verb kill, I put here the cover of Metallica's Kill and All um, to see that you can use for transitive as a transitive verb because if you kill somebody. Uh, so kill and all is like destroy all the people. Uh, Typical for a thrash metal band. They have names that are all related to uh, murder, killing, mass murder. So we have Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, all other things. Okay, we do not use a reflexive pronoun after verbs which describe things people usually do for themselves. So he washed in cold water. So it means that when you wash yourself. So, uh, but that's a good example because we come back later because we have an image of this kid here screaming like a banshee. He always shaved before going out in the evening. So, to shave is to cut your beard. So, probably most of the boys who has beard, they shave themselves. So it's an information that it's not necessary unless you are rich enough to pay somebody to shave you all the time. Michael dressed and got ready for the party. So to dress is an action that most of the people they do by themselves. So you don't need to reinforce that Michael dressed himself because it's understood. We only use reflexives with these verbs for emphasis. So He dressed himself in spite of his injuries. So in this case, it's a different situation because the person used to dress himself or herself. In this case, himself is a man. But for example, when you have some injuries, let's imagine you fell from a bike uh, and you get hurt. It's not easy to dress yourself because you have some wounds, and sometimes other people help you to dress yourself. And also, she's old enough to wash herself. So when I said that, when somebody, the first sentence, he wash in cold water, it means that people, when they have shower, they wash themselves. But if you are too young to do it, somebody has to do for you. So uh, you see that all sometimes the rules, they have the exception, and they can be you can change according to the situation. Here we have other rules. We use reflexive pronouns as an indirect object when the indirect object is the same as the subject of the verb. Okay. Would you like to pour yourself a drink? Right. So it means somebody is a waiter is coming and bring the drink and say, "Would you like to pour yourself a drink?" So this is the person who do it. We've brought ourselves something to eat. So uh, it's the same as the subject, we, ourselves, you, yourself. So we use reflexive pronouns as the object of a preposition when the object is the same as the subject. So here also there is the connection between the subject and the object. So they had to cook for themselves. So they do not have somebody to cook for them, they have to cook for themselves. He was feeling very sorry for himself. So he and himself, and then you have the preposition too. And here in the picture we have, where as we're talking about pour yourself a drink, we have here some drinks, a beer, wine, and gin, rum, tequila, vodka, whiskey, and the percentage of alcohol in those drinks. Um, we have other rules here. We use reflexive with the preposition by to show that someone did something without any help. So the children got dressed by themselves. So they dressed themselves. So it's the same. I prepared the whole meal by myself. But when you use this expression by myself, by themselves, is a kind of emphasis you are giving to the sentence. To show also that someone was alone. He lived by himself in an enormous house. So you see the picture, there's this person there in an enormous house, but he is by himself. She walked home by herself. So nobody helped her to go home because she walked home alone. Also, we use reflexive pronouns to emphasize the personal thing we are referring to. Kendall itself is quite a small town, so is a reinforcement of the thing of a person, especially if you are talking about someone very famous. Sir Paul McCartney himself sang the final song, so it's something that it's not expected. You cannot you were not expecting him to sing the final song, but he did, so you make a reinforcement to it. We often put the reflexive pronoun at the end of the clause when you are using for emphasis. So if you want to give an emphasis to something you say, some statement, you put the reflexive pronoun at the end. So I baked the bread myself. She mended the car herself. So it's a kind of reinforcement on what you say, uh, to make it clearer that you did by yourself. She did by herself. So the subject did not have any help from anybody else. Okay, people. So this is the class for today. I hope you enjoy and see you next time. Bye.